Good morning. I am at home base today. I am not at the cabin. I am down in my outdoor kitchen, and I am getting ready to cook breakfast and have coffee here by the fire pit. So I just thought I might bring you along just in case you wanted. We're going to have deer tenderloins today, deep fried potatoes, and a couple of eggs. So hope you enjoy the video, and I'm going to show you how you light a fire with stovetop stuffing. So you might want to pay attention. This right here is a fun little trick. Get yourself a new box of stovetop stuffing. Open it up. You take the contents and you dump it out right into your fire pit, just like that. Save the box, you might want it later. And you grab a little bit of birch bark here, put that on the fire, on your fire lay. And I'm going to light that stovetop stuffing with a ferro rod. Whoop, I pushed it out. Little bit of inner tube was in that box of stovetop stuffing, so might as well throw that in there too. Get rid of it while we're building up this here fire. Now I got lots of birch bark here. Went and collected it down back. We are fortunate. We have a lot of not only birch bark trees here, but we also have a bunch that are down on the ground. So some of this stuff I actually collect right out of my firewood pile. Up in the woodshed, right full of that stuff. So we'll let that go for a minute. Now, in case you haven't figured out about the stovetop stuffing trick, it's not really a trick at all. All it was a box, and in my firewood box in the house, I had a bunch of scraps down in the bottom of the box that I just stuffed them in there. So you're basically just using the box. So I hope you find the humor in that. An old woodsman, we use all kinds of stuff. We use jugs, we use jars. Hardly anything I think gets thrown out if I think I can use it at the cabin. As you can tell, this fire pit's right full of leaves. This is the very first fire of the year. We finally have lost the snow down here. So looking forward to getting the outdoor kitchen opened up. Once the outdoor kitchen is opened up, that's where I do most of my cooking. Well, I'm just going to let that go for a few minutes and get a nice bed of coals built up so that I can put my Dutch oven on there for deep frying the potato. And I've got a package of last year's deer, package of tenderloin I'm going to put in there. Actually in a frying pan, got a cast iron frying pan. We're going to put that in the frying pan along with some onions, a little salt and pepper. And that ought to make a pretty good breakfast. So I'll bring you back in a few minutes. No sense in having you watch this fire. It's going to take probably 30 minutes or so to get a good bed of coals built up. So thank you for coming along and sitting by the campfire with me this morning. I'd like to do a couple of shout outs while we're right here too. I'd like to say hello to Paul up in Canada. He's someone new that I've met on YouTube. I thoroughly enjoy his channel and all that. And the other one is Mike right here in Maine. I'd like to do a shout out to him. His name of his channel is Bushcraft Northeast. I might have mucked that up, but I got a memory about as good as nothing. And then Paul's channel is Hunt Shack Wilderness up in Canada. If you haven't checked out those, I'll drop a link to both of those down in the description part, so you can check out those channels if you'd like. They're absolutely great. I also got another fella named Paul that I just met over in the UK. I really like his channel. He just did a really good video on gear and stuff like that. He went out in the woods, and he did a day with no gear at all, and showed how it was possible to do all that. So I can't think of his channel right off the top of my head. Bytes. Paul, I'll have to look it up. Paul Bushcraft Bytes. I think that might be it. If not, I'll fix it in the video right here, so you can have his too. Them channels, I've been watching those pretty regular the last couple of weeks, and man, they got some good stuff in there. This right here is my outdoor kitchen that I was talking about earlier in the video, and it's just some place I put together about 20 years ago. I love being outside, whether it's at the cabin or whether it's here at home base. Out here I do a lot of campfire cooking, Dutch ovens, all that. I have water out here, I have electricity, I have three fire pits. One of the fire pits is underneath that roof, so that I can, even in a rain day, I can still man the Dutch oven and all of that. So I just wanted to share my little outside kitchen. I'll go down a little closer and give you a little tour of the inside. I have a wood stove in there. I also have, like I said, a fire pit, picnic table, pots and pans, all that stuff. Right now I'm in the middle of spring cleanup. This is the first day out. Snow down here at the house is finally melted, so I can open up my summer kitchen, and this is where you find me when you don't find me at the cabin. So thanks a lot for coming along. I'm just having breakfast out here today. Thought I might make a little video to share my outside kitchen. This is a big part of where I do a lot of my practicing of fires and all that. Just another place, extension of all of my hunting and fishing and gathering efforts, and just plain learning new skills. Even at my age, there's still plenty of skills to still learn and still master. So I will bring you in for a closer tour. What you're looking at here is my outdoor stove that's underneath my outdoor kitchen roof. Over there is my fire pit. That's where I can, down in the bottom is the fire pit, and up on top that is 1/4-inch plate steel. Up there is where I will move my coals from the fire pit below. I will move them up there for my Dutch ovens. I will be doing videos later on in the summer, now that we've got the kitchen open up. And that's where I will do most. I can do 2 Dutch ovens at a time and still be making coals down in the lower fire pit. It's just a great place to do this. I got a bucket in there right now. That's my ash bucket. Picnic table, pots and pans, everything, chairs. These are my pots and pans in the outdoor kitchen. Everything hangs up. Everything will get a good cleaning, springtime as well as before cookouts. But I put this building together so that we would have a nice place for the grandkids to have cookouts with us. There's my fire pit. It's a dog building down in the background. I used to run beagles. Used to run a lot of beagles. I had 27 beagles at one point for rabbit hunting. Just a little S-hook I built years ago for, I think they're a lot smaller and do probably a little better job lifting lids than the ones they want to sell you in the store. I have one of those, I don't hardly ever use it. Some cooking oil. I like margarine for my deer steak. I don't like cooking oil if I'm going to fry it in the frying pan. And the other thing I like to do is I like it to be medium rare. I don't like deer steak that is well done. I think medium rare does about the best job as far as still being tender and still having flavor, wild game flavor. I'm not here to cover up any of the wild flavor. I think that store-bought meat has no flavor at all when you've become accustomed to that wild game flavor. I find it very bland piece of steak. Unless you put a bunch of seasoning on steak, it really doesn't have a lot of flavor. So all I'm doing now is I'm waiting for the oil over here to get hot. You notice I set it off to one side. just because I want it to get hot. I don't want it to get over hot. What I'm going to do is take a piece of that potato, drop in there, and when it is ready, that potato will be sizzling and all of that. So for right now, I'm just going to go over to the table, dice this up into what I want for home fries, and then we will go from there. This right here is a toaster for a campfire. It's just something off an old gas stove from back in the old days. You can also use a pie plate off a cook stove. I have several of them. All you got to do is just stick it on the fire, let it warm up, and then she'll do one piece of toast at a time. So you can have toast, eggs, and home fries right off your campfire. And all you got to do is get that thing warm. I've diced up my home fries. I got some bread for the toaster and 1 onion for the deer meat. Now at this point, what I do is just drop in a potato. See, the oil still isn't hot enough, but you can leave that piece of potato in there, and when that thing really starts to bubble, then it is good to go. I'm going to slide this over here, because that pan's all warmed up. My oil is getting pretty decent. I'm going to bring it over here on the flame now. A little closer anyways. Get my toaster out of the way. Yeah. It won't take long at all. Everything will be ready to start cooking. The nice thing about having an outdoor kitchen is everything's out here. Other than you want to bring out some food, that's it. In the pan, nice and hot and ready. Now we're just waiting on the home fries. Well, the oil is ready. Now you want to be careful not to splash, so I take a little spoon, just lower it down in. Hope you heard that hissing when them fries hit that pan. that is how you cook deer steaks with no power, no propane. Just a good old cast iron pan and some campfire wood. I call these tenderloins. They're actually the back straps. But when I cut them up, I do my own butchering. That way I can get the cuts of meat that I want that fit my needs. Most of the time when I cook this stuff, it's outdoors, it's on a stick. It's in a pan like this. And like with any stove, you have to pay attention to heat. You know, even if it's a campfire, you have high, medium, and low. Right now, I'm out on high. So I want to slow that down just a little bit. And go over here on medium. And if you're going to push it way back, then you push it way back. And that'll be on low. And you can tell by the sound of the pan. You listen. Listen to that hissing and all that, and watch your meat. Home fries, when they start to float, they're pretty near done. Give them a few more minutes. To me, being a woodsman is not only about gathering and hunting and all of that, but it's also knowing how to take care of your game once you get it home. Learning how to cook. To me, this is a huge skill in this whole scheme of being a woodsman and just plain being an outdoorsman or going camping or whatever. You know, this is all part of it. Learning how to cook a good meal once you get back here at the cabin. And I got a fire pit up at the cabin that is just like this one. A little different, but all set up for cooking as well as campfire. Now at this point, I'm going to drop a little bit of pepper in here. Now I don't put salt in the pan at this point. I just put pepper. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but see the fries? Nice and golden brown. All floating, and these are home fries. See that? Not burnt. Hot in there. Need a longer handle spoon. Now what you want to do at this point is you got to take this oil off your fire. You don't want it catching on fire. And you don't need to burn it because that oil can be used again. There's the home fries. We'll just leave them over here next to the automatic heater. gonna bring in some toast. I'm gonna check my steaks over here, see how they're doing. Doing really good. The trick to that is just plain flip it. While I'm tidying up here on my campfire, I really wanted to do a huge shout out to another channel on that I am been watching since I actually started my own channel. The name of that channel is OwlCabin, and if you want to learn how to take care of a fish and all that, as well as bushcraft skills, boy, doesn't she do a good job. She's been doing a lot of cooking videos, I guess probably because it's winter time now. But she can cook. She did one not too long ago on a game hen. And I'll tell you what, if I could have reached into that computer and munched down on that thing, I would have. I think she put, it was either 3 or 4 that she put into a cast iron pot, looked like. And she said she had guests coming over for supper that night. And I'll tell you, she got some nice videos if you want to check it out. And the name of the channel is OwlCabin. And I will drop a link to that down in the description area. These are a few of the channels that I follow on a regular basis. So I just wanted to throw that one in there so that maybe you could go check out some of her videos. You won't be disappointed. Well, thank you for joining me for breakfast. As you can see, I'm getting ready to sit down to a feast. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just one of the aspects of my life that I thoroughly enjoy doing. And I wanted to invite you along out to my outdoor kitchen for my first breakfast of the new season, after the snow is melted. So I will see you on the next video, and you have a great day.